Hi there, my name is Riwin and welcome back to another Byler video. Now today I'm looking a little bit different, more 3D, because we're doing a more kind of non-scripted version. I wanted to go through the 300-page slideshow, but I also wanted to show you guys how analyzing kind of works. Kind of because it's also a crossover between how you make FNAF theories, so if you guys are interested, yeah. But yeah, let's go. Straight off the, oh god, okay. Great start, guys. Straight off the bat, I love this beautiful image. So this was done by Beep Boop 358. I have seen it absolutely everywhere. So I have faith in it. I haven't actually been through most of it at the moment. Oh my goodness. Oh my goodness. Okay. Random notes. If you're friendly to slides to be shared. Do not request access. Nice. It's asking about this. You're absolutely welcome to translate. Nice. You don't not allow others editing access. Okay. So, I'm going the wrong way. Okay, so I know that most people in the Stranger Things fan will already believe Will is gay, or at least acknowledge it as a possibility because of his queer coding. Okay, immediately off the bat, it is confirmed now. I believe it was a tweet by the Duffer Brothers, but it's... Yeah. Also, if you think not after season 4, who even are you? Have you seen the show? Like... Throughout these slides, you will see that Mike is actually more queer-coded than Will is, and yet for some reason most people are resistant to acknowledge that Mike being gay is even a possibility, undoubtedly because of 11. Yeah, it's interesting because Will is queer-coded because he is gay, and Mike is more so because it's very internalized homophobia, kind of shining a spotlight on that. Before I want to get started, I just want to say it's 300 slides long. Yep. Many things have been discussed by key piece to anyone. I've heard of them, I think, and some edits are from her as well. So if you edit him, see Tumblr. Okay, great. Oh, this way again. There is so much we need to go over, I'm not sure where to start, how to organise this. Season 3 has the most evidence. Yeah, I can see that. It's the most, like, in-your-face one, same as the Dawson experiment. I'm sorry if it is confusing, but it makes the most sense if you're pretty familiar with the show. There are parallels to reference 80s movies and TV shows. That is very true. I mean, the show is set in the 80s, so you can obviously already kind of guess there is a lot of inspiration, but off the top of my head, it's like Eyewitness, and then that one, I can't even remember the name now, but it was this one 80s show that's quite popular. Love to things happening with tiny details and the details of the setting and dialogue. True, which has been confirmed by them in interviews. True. Post season 2, they confirmed the video game Dig Dug was used as the main arcade. I didn't know that. To foreshadow tunnels at the upside down. In a post season 3 interview, they say they purposely put tiny narrative details in the interior mall decor design. We cannot brush off the background details as looking too much into it or grasping at straws. Yeah, that's the thing. If you guys look at Byler and your immediate response is, they didn't put that much detail in. That's actually offensive to the writers, if I'm being honest. To say that any foreshadowing, any parallels, and anything doesn't exist is just straight up rude. Like, hang on, we're gonna go in the big cam. We're gonna go in the big cam for this. Oh. Yeah, to me it just comes off as a little rude to say that when these guys have put so much time and effort into making the art that they did, into making the details that they did, to then turn around and say, oh, you're looking too deep, is kind of crazy, because the Duffer Brothers are like really good writers, so for you to just ignore that, like there was even a behind the scenes photo where one of the Duffer Brothers was doing like pull-ups and to look at the stairs to make sure it looked right, because they just love that attention to detail. So yeah. There's actually where a lot of occlusion hints are. That is true. Although I'd argue the biggest evidence is actually not even that subtle. It's the ones where it's directly like, hi, this is how a good relationship works. And then it's like Byler and not my 11. Yeah. Show's creators have confirmed that's what they are doing. That is true. In interviews for season 3, the Duffer said the monster represented puberty. The kids are growing up, and growing up comes change, or just scary. It's also been mentioned that the monster being made of flesh is a purposeful choice to show that the monster represents puberty. It's made of flesh. Yeah, that's kind of... I didn't know it was exactly the monsters, but it's kind of obvious that the whole theme of season 3 was growing up, because Mike was hiding his queerness behind a wall of growing up. Obviously, since the little kids last summer before high school, change is looming everywhere, and puberty is a significant part of that change, and we see that in character behavior throughout the season. As they grow up and their interests change, a rift is forming. True. Everyone on the main post, the top tagline is one summer can change everything. That is true. We're meant to understand that this season is really about being afraid of change. Underneath all the supernatural, otherworldly problems they deal with, they're still human, they have human problems. There is a very human aspects to this season surrounding the complex developing changes in personalities, relationship dynamics of the characters. Again, yeah, I agree. It's very much, like Dustin, not as much. Lucas, kind of getting older. Will is not liking change. Mike is a whole super bad stuff. Okay, starting with the season 3 opening, my 11 make out nipples. So 1, the details in Elle's room. The camera slowly pans over the objects in Elle's room and we see several interesting things. In a room, we see a quick and subtle shot of drawing on Mike's name with a rainbow on it. The rainbow is attached to the heart at the end. The rainbow is the main symbol of LGBT pride. Okay. It's... I'm always hesitant for details like these because you have to think of the intention behind them. When I look at all the evidence I have, I looked at a lot more evidence than I actually spoke about in both of my Byler videos because it's more niche than that. So for example, a detail like this, it could just be in the 80s, it's just probably representing happiness. Even though it could be a small detail, there's not much intention for it to be so. However, in comparison, when you look at ones like... My mind has gone blank. Oh, when you look at ones like in the costume, for example, the costume team have actively spoken how every detail is significant, like the little triangle on Mike's shirt, so therefore we have more significance there than when we have just a random rainbow in the background. And considering rainbows were quite a big motif in the 80s, I'm more hesitant to say this, although Cindy Lord paper, Cindy Lord putting through colours. Again, it's possible, but it's not direct enough because there are a lot of hints, like the one-way sign to the closet, but they're more clear that that's what they are. Mike is more often associated with rainbows in the show, obviously because it's a symbol of gay pride. The specific imagery of the heart attached to the end of the drawing of them can be seen as pinned to the... Okay. See, again, so looking from a FNAF theorist and a Byler point of view, something you have to look at for both FNAF and Byler is how often it's occurring too. Is it like a small detail we're going to forget, or is it recurring? Now, this being shown a second time is now more interesting to me because it's happening again. So, sign and Mike confirmed it's doing okay. It's gone. And in fact, anyone to on the walls. It's about the rainbow imagery being quicker than effort. Okay, so if we're trying to go for this angle, I would say more it's between... I would say it's more in between the fact that Elle has been taken away from his room, because that's, to me, now symbolizing their relationship, whereas now that's gone from the room and Will's paintings are still up, that's now hinting more towards Byler than my 11. This scene crush drink in between Will and Mike. Yeah, that's completely valid. That's probably true. There's no other reason other than just being there. They didn't really do that, so... Well, okay, let's have a look. On the wall. Fine. That's... Okay, the thing is, a lot of these are just 70s motifs, and it's... I think you can get away with saying the heart on the rainbow, but in general, it just feels a little bit too much. Like, I just realized you guys can't see my mouse, but I'm kind of circling the images. Although, the one on the bottom, I can't see the rainbow on it, so it's just saying Will as the rainbow. Brilliant. I mean, even this one with Mike, it's just pink, yellow, and blue in the background. That's just kind of 80s colours. They're I can't speak, bright, vibrant, so... I would hesitate to say this one. Next, we see a drawing of a D&D character on the wall behind 11. On the wall, Mike is facing where they make out. The drawings will of Will the Wise, drawn by Will and given to Mike. So why is it hanging on 11's wall? Okay. Well, I feel like it's because they are close. I suppose not as much at this point is a strong argument, because both 11 and Will have more of like a sibling relationship later on. This is interesting. They wanted to point it out as a drawing where Will inside 11's room and Hopper's cabin, but also 11 and Will are friends and obviously get a lot closer with time. Everything in 11's room is Mike related. There's nothing that references any other part of him, so Mike clearly gave Elle this drawing, telling her it was his, so she would hang it out. See, again, this is too much of a leap in logic. He could look at it while they kissed to remind him of Will. I don't think Mike is that conscious yet. I don't think it's until the end of season 3 when Elle kisses him and says, "I love you," and he has that, oh, moment. That's the moment I think he really hones in and realizes, so I don't think this is the right moment to kind of call this in. Will likes to draw. Mike has Will's drawings hung over the basement. Yeah, I do think that definitely is quite prevalent of their connection being there. That's 100% there. Season 1, there are 5 Will's drawings hung up. In season 3, there are 6. Mike has hung another one up. In season 3, we see his old posters change, something more mature, but Will's drawing didn't go anywhere. There's still several of Will's drawings hung up, plus a binder full of his others. There's nothing even remotely 11 related in Mike's basement. His room is not shown until in season 2 and season 3. Yet our room is covered in pictures of him. Dyson spelled out his name and reference this to him. Yeah, that's very true. That's something that is definitely quite prevalent. Yeah, both in season 4 as well, it's very, very clear that Mike has loads of stuff of Will, but not Elle at all, and Elle has loads of stuff of Mike, and it's kind of, just a teensy bit suspicious. What's kind of interesting as well to me is I've forgotten what I was going to say. So interesting. Yeah, so it's kind of interesting that Mike is talking about how they have to grow up and how that kind of growing up means he has to be more distant from Will and not spend as much time, and yet he's got his memories and treasuring them around, so it's very clear he's not really stepping away. It's like I say this, but I don't mean it. Same as like, oh, I say you don't have to play D&D all day, and then it's like, wait, no, I want to play D&D, wait, come back, I'll chase you in the raid. It's that kind of dynamic. I've gone back again, okay. Mike looking at his binder for the Will's drawings, yep. What am I meant to see here? It's just Will's, yeah? Yeah, it's something we've known the whole time, so I think he's probably got in season 4 as well. He's still got Will's drawings. Back to the season 3 opening, my 11 makeout in episode 1, the kiss. The camera pans to Mike 11, we see 11 put her hands on Mike and he takes them off. They're dating... What straight man will take his girlfriend's hands off him? If I'm being honest, sometimes things like these are too far-fetched. Now, I'm not saying it's right, but some people are then pushed further away from 11, not necessarily in this example, but there's some examples where it feels a bit too pushed. Like saying that he takes her hands off because he just doesn't want to kiss her is... It's difficult because these stretches in logic can sometimes be a little bit too far. I absolutely agree there is symbolism absolutely everywhere. It's really interwoven in, but we really need to be making sure that we know the difference. If we want to speculate there's something there, great. But then for this one, for example, I wouldn't exactly say it's evidence, whereas something else like and even the heart and rainbows, I reckon you could probably pull that off as evidence. You could say that's evidence, but when you start completely invalidating everything else and not looking at the wider context, it starts to fumble a little bit. Okay. The only other couple cheesily sing together in one-on-one scenario is Steve and Robin after she comes out to him. This couple can never work because one of them escaped. Fair enough. Steve also sings to Nancy in a one-on-one season 1. This couple can never work because one of them is not in love. Any other people choosing to make out on better cheesy 18 music are Steve and Nancy, who we all know broke up. This couple can never work because one of them is not in love. True. I think that's the biggest one I would do is Steve and Nancy. That's the one that I would probably hone in on here, but all are very valid. The one the most important here is Steve and Nancy because they were literally like trying to make out and stuff on that bed. So 11 says she doesn't like Mike singing and they go back to kissing. Mike, just like before, keeps his arm folded in his lap. 11 reaches for him again and the shot quickly shifts to an angry Hopper. Again, they were kind of... It's difficult. I think without season 5, because again, I've discussed this before, I don't think it's impossible that Mike has liked Will or not liked 11 the entire time, and it's down to expectations. But I also don't think it's impossible. He had some kind of crush on Elle until kind of mid-season 3, and when the relationship broke down, he kind of realised. I think it's very hard to get that distinction of where it is, because a lot of evidence then becomes more valid or less valid, depending on where we're looking at in the timeline. Oops. The movie theatre scenes follows with my 11 breakout scene as Mike leaves Elle to meet up with Lucas, Max and Will at the mall. Steve lets them in the back way through Scoops Ahoy, and he says again when they show up, the comment signals for them going to movies together is a regular occurrence, not just a one-time thing. Dawson is way at camp and isn't allowed in public, so only 4 of them can go. Yeah, that's just true. Yeah, they probably break in a lot. Interesting seating arrangements. Yeah, this is quite cute. I do quite like this. I do think they do often place Will and Mike together a lot, and when they place them together less and less, that's when their relationship is more taut. So when they're having a good relationship here, they'll be sitting next to each other. That's just, yeah. They're looking at each other's lips. They are. I don't think they're about to kiss, but it's definitely starting to signify the attraction going the other way. Especially now Mike is learning more stuff about making out and stuff he's learning to understand. That probably does begin to build an honest attraction to Will. Because even though he's dating Elle, I think there's probably at least some attraction to Will. Whether it's he didn't like Elle romantically at all, or if it's a case of he kind of develops more. But yeah, this is definitely like a... yeah. Ooh. The conversation during the movie theatre scene is almost identical to the one Mike has with 11 in season 1 when she hides in Mike's closet. Mike's mum comes home, so he puts 11 in his closet and he has a coded coming out scene with his mum. It's yet another parallel not to a couple that can never work, but to people who like each other. Mike is supposed to be deeply in love with 11, so it's significant he has almost the same conversation he has with Al, with Will. You okay? Yeah, are you sure? Of course, everything okay? Are you sure? Promise. Yeah, I think it also isn't helped by the fact that Mike has matching trauma with both Will and Elle. Both Will and Elle have disappeared in season 1 and he thought he'd lost them both, so that isn't helping his feelings at all. Mike is blushing, Will is blushing. The camera focuses on the blushing, meaning that interaction the following shot of them blushing holds enough narrative significance for them to focus on it. They wanted to notice this. Yeah, I think season 3 is kind of when Mike's been brushing off his feelings as well as like, oh, I'm just growing up, I have to like a girl and I'm just gonna stay in love with my girlfriend, when probably he then starts to feel a little bit of that connection romantically. Now he's kind of learning what love actually is rather than just like how he first kissed Elle in season 1. I want to take a second and point out how close Mike and Will physically stand to each other the entire season, and how they have several moments staring in each other's eyes or glancing at each other's lips' bodies like they're about to kiss. Though close proximity is a clue we are supposed to pick up on, they're practically glued together in every scene. They always stand together when they are with the whole group. This is especially pronounced in season 3, with all the couples always standing in pairs, but Mike and Will always stand next to each other when they are the rest of the party. Yeah, Mike and Will are a duo. It's always Mike and Will. It's always Mike and Will. Yeah, I think partially they are separated for different contexts. So, for example, a lot of the mall scenes and the other scenes are either because Elle is focusing on looking for something, or Elle is separated because she's still fighting with Mike. But I also do think it's significant that even though they fought, Mike and Will are still together all the time, because they are very intertwined. The whole narrative intertwined. That's just how they work. That's just how they work. Season 3, they're constantly seen glass at each other. They stand so close they could literally hold hands in every shot. In almost every scene, Will can be seen peering on Mike out of everyone else in the room. Mike does the same thing with Will, but Mike takes a little farther and he checks Will out several times. He looks down at Will's body and lips several times in season 3. Mike does this a lot in season 2, but even more in season 3. In season 2, it's mostly lip glances. Okay. Will's glances staring at Mike definitely increased from season 2 to 3. They're both staring, glancing, checking each other out constantly in season 3. Do we see this? Okay, nice. I definitely think Mike's got a lot more attention on Will this season. I think he's finding it a little bit harder to detach. And then obviously season 4 he's forcibly detached, but oh. Mike's hand. Yeah, they always have this closeness. Dwight's kind of sad disappears in season 4. They'd always have had this kind of like, yeah. I wouldn't say, for example, this answer on the left is, top left is Mike checking Will out. A lot of these are taken slightly out of context, because if you look, Lucas is also looking in the same place Mike is looking, and unless Lucas is also having his gay awakening here, I don't think that's it. I think lip glances, yes, but checking out the body, less so. Yeah. I think it's really interesting when people say they're not gay, they're just really good friends. You look at your friends like that. That's true. It's a little bit too fruity for that. I would also like to point out how my 11's physicality declines as the season goes on, but Mike and Will's doesn't decline. 11 starts off the first episode clinging to his arm constantly, and they break up in episode 2, and less than halfway through the season, they aren't even sitting next to each other anymore. They never get back together after they break up in episode 2. I think it's kind of implied they get back together, but their relationship is now rocky. And it is through season 3 all the way through season 4. It's not great. Mike has an idea to find out if Billy released a new host. Just I have an idea, boys only. Not super excited with the toughers. The camera then shows Mike, Will, and Lucas going to the locker room with Mike leading the way, panning up to the men inside above the room. Again, these ones are the ones that I'm talking about when they're too much of a leap in logic. Boys only is because they're going into the men's only spa because they need to heat up Billy to get the thingy out them. I think sometimes it just feels like evidence like this isn't really helping our cause, because I get where you're coming from, fully understand, but I just think it's one of these ones in a wider context, it doesn't make as much sense, if that makes sense. He opens the sauna room to a bunch of naked old men. Look at the boys' reactions. Lucas makes sense, boy, what does it look like gay pen? No. Mike looks scared, conflicted, and ashamed. Look at the eyes, time-bound, look at the new expression, like guilt, shame, self-hatred, and denial who's being... Okay. This is what I mean. In this scene, it was comedic because they were all shocked and all like, ew, oh my god, old men in there. It's... I couldn't think thoughts of his future self on life as a gay man flash. No. Just... Very much... No. It's one of these ones, again, it's kind of out of context. I don't think this should be used as evidence because it's very odd to say that looking at old men, like, checking out well, sure. Makes sense, getting more attraction here. Old men? Mike shuts the door and watches the previous expression of his face. Lucas speaks up as soon as the girl closes, saying, I think I just rubbed my mouth. Mike and Will do not respond to his comment. Instead, Mike turns in another direction, starts walking, explaining more of his plan, eager to get away from the subject and like it never happened. They both face him on opposite sides of the screen. That's the space between them. Lucas mirroring how they're on opposite sides of the issue. Okay, I think we should kind of just skip this one because this is a bit... It's just no. With all due respect, I respect all the work that the creators put into this. Some of these were just a bit... Mike's and Will declared that the day free of girls the same energy. They're the only character to make comments like this. No. Just... No. Ben thinks Max apologizes to someone to the lingerie store and just looks his ways in the front of the triangle. While Mike and Will stand behind him side by side, looks his way up to the lingerie store. Mike and Will follow him. So... That's the thing. Lucas is leading them in this scene because he just knows where to go, but then all three of them are shocked. It's not just Mike and Will. Lucas is also like, what the heck, bro? All of them are surprised by this, and I think it's not helping to try and put points like this forward, because sometimes scenes are just made to be comedic. Having Mike and Will together, whole entire different thing. That's, you can do that, but having their reaction to a steamy room of naked old men, like that quote right there... Mike looks at Will right. I'm 90% sure Mike is looking at Lucas here. Will is just looking in horror. They're all quite horrified by this, man. They're just children at the end of the day. Will, Mike and Lucas start lingerie and then rush off. So why do strange things make out tweet this? We see the difference indicates Mike is afraid of the lingerie, just like he's afraid of the monster. When the monster represents puberty and is made of literal flesh, so Mike staring at the lingerie is basically the non-supernatural version of the monster for him. Mike is afraid of human puberty because it will be harder to deny that it's gained like women so as he gets older. I think adult stuff is just scary of him. At the end of the day, this whole theme of the season is he's trying to grow up. So seeing something like this is like, oh, he doesn't want to grow up. At the end of the day, he doesn't want to grow up. Probably is gay, probably contributes, but I think that's the main issue. Tweets, what are you implying? That my play is scary, the lingerie store is also scary. Very much so. My scared boy, so much to process, doesn't give a break to what's going on for him. True, he's being conspired against. Is his nana even okay? What if his girlfriend is spying on him when he shoots? And have you ever tried to buy an apology at the mall when you only have like $50? Wait, something that she says, I'm sorry, and on top of that you have to try and solve the great mystery of the female species. Like, can we just play D&D now? Yeah, I think your bigger argument that you could have brought up here was the whole, females are a different species. Like, obviously they are scared of girls, but Lucas obviously less so, but I think that's a big argument to be at play here than they're scared of lingerie because they're gay. Mike says repeatedly in the aftermath of the breakup he thinks Max and Ella are conspiring against him. He's deeply in the closet and proud of being outed so because he can jump to more conclusions. He said to keep his cover. Losing Elle means losing security. Yep, that makes 100%. Yeah, I agree. Later in the season, Hopper's cabin, Mike exclaims that Max is corrupting Elle. In his mind, they conspire against him. Max is convincing Elle not to get back together with him, and then Mike loses his cover. He'll be vulnerable to people finding out he's gay. I don't think he actively even knows it's a cover. I think he's just so in denial of his feelings. That's the thing. This entire season, he's really in denial of his own feelings, of how he feels himself. He's unintentionally doing so as well. I don't think it's conscious at all. He doesn't know what he's doing. So it's kind of like, he doesn't actively think, I want to keep dating Elle because she's my cover, but it's more like, I should be dating Elle because I'm, she's my girlfriend. Blah, 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 blah. I'm definitely straight. boyfriends. Oh, sweet Elle. Poor Elle, her boyfriend is gay. And speaking of boyfriends, I'm right applying to another thing. Nobody playing D&D with Will. This also makes him crazy. Maybe tomorrow can play D&D. Not only did I reply with a picture of Will asking what makes you crazy, we'll go crazy together, only love makes you crazy. D&D is frequently used as a romantic symbol between Mike and Will. Yes? Yeah, because it's kind of linked to the idea of growing up, and going back to D&D is not growing up, and probably in Mike's mind accepting his queerness, which he doesn't at least unintentionally want to do. It's what they do like the it's what they do. Oh, it's what they like to do together. And during the fight, Will tells Mike he thought they were going to play games in Mike's basement forever, as Mike seems to aren't kids anymore. The breakup, the fight, and confirmation of Byler through eyewitness parallel. Oh, this is a juicy one. These scenes show a stark juxtaposition between the two for direct comparison. Mike and Will's breakup is shown treated much differently than Mike and Will's fight, and is supposed to ignore the differences. Yes. The girls catch the guys at the mall and they confront Mike about lying that he couldn't see Elle because his nana was sick. He continues lying about why he lied, and then Elle dumps him. Mike looks confused, startled, and even a little annoyed. Not really devastated in her. He looks really annoyed. I'd be so thrilled. Look at that face down there. Steve and Nancy also have their big breakup in season 2, episode 2, and Mother breaks up in season 3, episode 2. After Elle dumps Mike, the girls get back on the bus, laughing, high-fiving, eating ice cream. The guys go back to Mike's house and complain about how they don't understand the female species, laying on the watching potatoes fighting. Yeah, I've pointed that out before. They were not in it. I just want to point out how the breakup scene imagery is happy and fun with bright, vibrant colours. No one is upset, not even Elle. The weather is nice. It's clear as storms coming from the overcast clouds and thunder, but it's not there yet, which foreshadows something else is about to happen. The calm before the storm. Yes, I agree, 100%. Look at Will's face when Elle says, "I dump your ass." He starts smiling and turns away to hide it. He's just like, yes. To be fair, Will has been pissed off this whole season, so if that is him laughing there, then that's hilarious. He deserves that. He got brushed off so bad. And then Max hang out in Elle's room, laughing and talking while having a sleepover. Drink. Oh. Breath. Oh, it's really sweet. I'm good. Okay. Elle does not seem at all concerned or upset she just broke up with Mike. Based on Eleven's behaviour after the breakup, and I'm not sure if she ever romantically loved Mike, that's pushing it, because she 100% loved Mike. I think she is fully in love with Mike, it's just the other way around. I think it's safe to assume she's definitely not madly, deeply, seriously in love with Mike. She also calls Mike her first boyfriend. I think Elle cares for Mike because he took care of her. No one ever had before. He takes her in, saving her from the bad man, and lets her stay in his basement. Saved her life. Her friendship with Mike was the first time Love had ever experienced real compassion, so of course she'd latch onto it and cling to it. I think that does contribute. I think she probably does like Mike in that way, but I also think that it leads her to be blind to a lot of the issues in the relationship, which is completely fair. And I think it's something that will get kind of confronted later. It's kind of both of them are letting go of a lot of things because of their own reasons. Elle, because she has this connection, she doesn't want to lose Mike, whereas she's kind of realizing she's got family, she doesn't need Mike. And then obviously we have Mike realizing that he doesn't need her in a romantic way because he just doesn't need to grow up yet. Mike, Will, and Lucas sit in Mike's basement and complain about Elle dumped the ass. Yep, Will says the D&D game is almost set up, and Mike says he and Lucas are busy because we were trying to solve the great mystery of the female species. Yeah, Mike doesn't understand women because he is gay. Yeah, he said also women act on emotion, not logic. Yeah, he was an asshat here. Their statement is super telling because Mike acts on emotion with Will, like real love does, and he acts on logic with Elle because of his heteronormative impulses. That's really good. I hadn't thought of that. Well done. He's basically admitting he doesn't act on emotion in his relationship with Elle because he doesn't feel that emotion towards her, and that instead he acts on logic with Elle because he does what he thinks he should or has to. Fair? After Mike and Lucas mock Will's D&D game, Will runs out yelling, "Forget it," then tries to apologise, but Will still leaves and Mike goes after him, immediately filling up the stairs and out for his bike in the garage, and they start to argue. Yeah, this scene is very, very prevalent because it's definitely Max saying, "Oh, it's okay." I think it was Max saying he'll run back to you. He'll come crawling back, and then he does with Will. Mike tries to apologise again, even saying he wants to finish the game, but Will refuses and says Mike is ruining our party so he can swap spits and stupid girl. And Mike automatically snaps back with "Elle's not stupid, it's not my fault you don't like girls." Oh, sorry. To be fair, I don't think Mike meant it to come out this way, but I do think that's definitely how at least Will took it. Notice the contrasting imagery from the Breakup, the Byler fight, and it's dark and stormy with rain. It's heated, both of them. I'm emotional. Will tears up, looking shocked on her. After Will says, I guess I did, I really did, Mike get crushed. I'm not 100% if this is canon, but there's actually been leaks coming out, and the scene was like, Mike can see Will as hurt, we can see Will as hurt, ouch, or something like that, and it's, oh Will. That line is way more queer-coded towards Mike than Will. Mike doesn't even think Will is gay. At this comment, Jay says that line. Mike is so paranoid about being perceived as gay because his feelings for Will and his terms of homophobia. This line comes out as trying to deflect the situation onto Will. He immediately goes on the defensive to prevent being seen or outed as gay. This is Mike's internalized homophobia speaking. It's such a textbook and closet behaviour. He's so afraid of what he feels for Will and why he can't feel his feelings for 11. Mike is clearly not accepted that he is gay at this point in time, and he's trying desperately to make himself straight or seem like him. I think it was a trauma soup here. I definitely think queerness definitely played a part, and I also think it's a bit of like, I've got a girlfriend, you know, I've got to lock in here. It's not my fault that, you know, Will doesn't have a girlfriend, doesn't like girls. Mike is projecting his own denial about sexuality in the fight. A little bit, I suppose, yeah. He's trying to act overly straight. He assumes Will is straight, so being paranoid about being outed and deep in denial. Mike assumes Will's comment about swapping his bit with some stupid girl was questioning Mike's sexuality and if Mike even liked girls. I think it was more defensive. Mike is very much prone to be lashing out and attacking people, so... He sees Will's comment his girlfriend as an attack on him rather than 11 as a crack in his shield. It's actually kind of funny how they both assume the other person is straight and they base their words and actions around that belief. Any other straight person who has just heard his friend call his girlfriend stupid probably choose to go on about Mike chooses to say it's not my fault and like girls. Yeah, I think... Oh, just on my chair. I think it's definitely queer-coded, but it's... Yeah. Will looks stunned at her after Mike says that line. Mike tries to walk it back, saying he's not trying to be a jerk, but we're not kids anymore. And the conversation is, yeah, it's definitely like we can't act like this. It's you know, we can't have this closeness before because we're not kids, aka we can't be queer. Essentially, we can't have that connection because what we've seen as queer kind of thing is what I'm kind of getting from it, and it's definitely Mike in denial of his own feelings. Mike associates liking women as part of growing up. Yes. He sees his feelings for Will as childish, something needs to grow out of as he becomes an adult. Yes. Desperate to hide his true self, he does everything he can to fake it and ignore it. I don't think he's even, like, fully aware yet, but I know he's definitely probably in that stage of, like, oh, well, this must be how it feels to like girls. Yeah. Ugh, girls are just a different species. It's not even my bad. That's what he is trying to do by telling Will we aren't kids anymore. Did you really think that we'd never get girlfriends? We can sit in my basement and play games all day. He's trying to ignore and shove his feelings for Will's childish desires, but instead he's actually projecting his own fears and insecurities into Will in the process. He wouldn't want to stay kids with Will and play games every day, which is why he brings this up. He feels extremely conflicted because of what he wants and what he feels like he has to do. True. Will's final response is so heartbreaking. Will thinks and hopes they really will be kids together forever. Because he loves Mike, of course, he wants them to stay close forever and doesn't want growing up to change them. He doesn't want to lose Mike. Imagine what a slap in the face is must have felt like to Will after Mike initiating every single intimate moment, I assume. Yeah, it hit harder than Mike intended. Mike needs to get his temper under control in season 5. Oh, what was that? Scary. Looking at Mike's reactions, we talked about this before. It's very, very, very obvious. Even the lighting is more shadowy. After the fight, Will stops and puts a picture of him and Mike from Halloween the previous year when they just showed up as Ghostbusters when they said they would go crazy together. Will is so upset he destroys Castle Byers, Meanwhile, after Elle's breakup, Max and Eleven look at pictures of boys and are having fun, but Mike bikes to Will in the rain to desperately apologise. Mike apologises to Will immediately, but not to his ex-girlfriend for a day. Yes. That was clear. Fight with Will meant more to him than Elle dumping him. Yes. It was definitely like much more emotionally charged. Yes. I'm gonna roll my sleeves up because it's getting quite warm. Lonnie used to try to force Will to like normal things like baseball. After his fight with Mike, when Mike makes his infamous "It's not my food on the girls," Will hysterically cries while he destroys Castle Byers, which has always been a safe spot for him in the past. With the baseball bat. Will felt like he was safe with Mike, so Mike's comment during the fight hurts him even more. Will is reminded of the things Lonnie used to say to him by Mike's comments. So Will destroying Castle Byers, the only place feels like he can be himself, evident by the rainbow symbol hanging in the castle. I can see that. With the baseball bat, a symbol of his internalized homophobia from childhood memories of his dad tormenting him, is not only hugely significant, but so incredibly heartbreaking because it shows Will was still hurt and is struggling to inside with his sexuality and the fear surrounding being gay in the 80s. Yes. Definitely yes. It's definitely like leaning into Lonnie's violence, Lonnie's homophobia, that kind of hatred that isn't really touched upon much, because Will got bullied a lot for being gay, even though it wasn't confirmed. His dad bullied him for being gay, even though it wasn't confirmed. So I think the Rainbow Pride symbol was a pride flag that Will purchased because Fem doesn't have much money to spend, and he lives in a small conservative town in the 80s. Probably one of Will's drawings or something homemade. I don't think it's a pride flag. I think it's just a rainbow. It's symbolized, I would say, to be a pride flag. But Will's intentions drawing it, I reckon, was probably just to draw a rainbow because it looked cool. Jonathan plays Will one of his mixtapes, and they listen to Should I Stay or Should I Go by The Clash in Jonathan's room, as they wait for Lonnie to pick Will up to take him to a baseball game. Lonnie's idea in the background, he's just yelling at Lonnie over the phone for ditching Will. He's not coming, is he? Do you even like baseball? No, but I don't know, it's fun to go with him sometimes. Has he ever done anything with you that would actually like the arcade or something? I don't know. No, he hasn't. He's trying to force you to like normal things, and you shouldn't like things because people tell you you're supposed to, especially not him. As I discussed earlier, Will's dad Lonnie is homophobic and Paul bullied Will as a child, but calling him yes. Jonathan is obviously aware of that, and he knows this is why Lonnie is trying to force Will to like normal, meaning straight things. Jonathan telling Will to stay true to himself, like whatever and whoever he likes, not what people consider to be the right way, not what other people say or affect him. Yeah, I feel like Jonathan will be one of the first to kind of accept, because even if Will wasn't gay, he would have been forced to kind of like confront the possibility because Lonnie brought it up in his head, like, well, even if Will was gay, I would still, love him and stuff, so. Lonnie someone tries to get Will to like normal things, baseball to make him straight. Nancy practices doing a baseball bat in the garage in season 1. That's probably Mike's bat. Mike has probably played baseball at some point, and there may have been some encouragement from Mike's father, which makes his parallel between Will and Lonnie and Mike and Ted even more exact. Ted in season 2 to Mike at the dinner table, straight 20, you're on the bench son. Steve's baseball bat with nails. The bat is originally created by Jonathan in the Byers house from their stuff, so it's the Byers bat, probably Jonathan or Will's from when Lonnie tried to get Will, and maybe Jonathan too to like baseball. It's like nice to the back to Will and one discussion the bat, and the bat presenting heteronormative standards. I kind of see it differently. I kind of feel like the bat symbolizes Lonnie's actions and how Will and Jonathan try to stay away from the anger that is their fathers, because abuse is kind of like it's a cycle, so it's probably hard for them not to kind of connect to that, because obviously for a while they were around Lonnie, and that probably affected the way they were raised, so they had to not give in to it, because even though that's probably not easy. The Eyewitness parallel. I can please brief readers because we've talked about this a lot before. Lucas Mike, his girlfriend, as a beard. What? Dealing with internalized homophobia and lashes out, yep. Initiate kiss with Philip, Max initiated all the romantic moments, yep. Comes from a conservative, comes from a nuclear family, yep. No girlfriend, knows he's gay, but not out, comes from a poor family. Yeah, I mean, I don't have to explain this. This is just blatantly obvious. It's just a parallel. Yeah, it's identical, man. Look at them. It's, yeah. Byler confirmed. Exactly. Yeah, this one is just briefly, if you guys don't know, it's a parallel to a Norwegian show that Duffer Brothers really liked. It's practically identical. The lines are practically identical. The characters are practically identical. It's obvious it's a parallel. And lo and behold, these two ended up as a couple. The Eyewitness people came out as a couple in the end in the show. Oh, sorry, itch. Makeup survive? It did. Ended up as a couple, and then Mike and Will probably will. They become obsessed with Dawson's Creek. Oh, I heard about this one. In show, one of the boys that Jack dated Joey, the main girl, and says, look, we're not kids anymore. Which is what Mike said to Will in their fight. We're not kids anymore. Jack later turns out to be gay, having been in denial for a long time. Yes. Mike realizes he hurts Will, and he immediately bikes across town to Will's house in the dark pouring rain, bringing Lucas. Yep. He doesn't give up and leave. Yep. Mike having a hard time to apologize to everyone. Yep, except Will, because he always goes back to him. Because that's what you do when you're in love. Love makes you crazy. Mike doesn't apologize to Love until the next day in a half-hearted way, so she's the most important thing in the world to him. His words are empty. Yeah, the word important is also used by Steve to Robin, telling her that all the things he used to think were important aren't anymore. And that is in season 3. I'll let you have that one, yeah? But saying she's the most important thing in the world. I almost wonder if it's another case of him being kind of like thinking what I meant to say, kind of deal. The idea of worlds is a constant theme in the show. It's mainly to indicate differences and showing compatibility depending if they're from the same world. That happens to be the ET of the show. Yep. The world's always the shows of original pitch. Confirmed this again in post season 1 and season 3 interviews. 11 dressed up as a ghost, not a Ghostbuster. Sure. Lucas and Erica discussing her dolls and action figures being in love. No, actually, they're not. They don't exist on the same planet. I can get that. The rainbow drawing on the door. Again, I think we need to be careful where we're calling out rainbows. Some are significant, but not all of them. William Mike in season 3 when they get in the car together. Welcome to my world. Mike to Al, you're the most important thing to me in the world. If I'm a different species with you, maybe I should be with my species more. Jonathan Dual Zone, Jonathan Dual drink. Zombie boy convo. Nobody know more about accomplished anything meaningful in this world. I think in this case, I'm going to err on the side of caution and say this is probably just like, at least the majority of them are just lines as they should be. You know, the most important thing to me in the world, generic, which is the biggest thing here. The most important thing to me in the world is, yeah, it's generic. Whereas ones about different species, that is important, but not for the reason you think. Yeah. Yeah, okay, we just saw that. Oh yeah, Love Makes You Crazy. This is a good one. 11's bandaged injured on the left and abandoned Robin's left leg. Doesn't interrupt at both end scenes. The walkie-talkie with Mike. Mike even tries to tell 11 who loves her and Steve confesses his crush to Robin. I don't think you even need to go that far, to be honest. I think it's already quite obvious. They do say it makes you crazy. Love makes you crazy. I think I found something a little better for me. It's crazy. Yeah, there definitely is a lot of symbolism of like love being crazy in here. And I don't think you even need that much evidence to prove it, to be fair. Good soup. Mike says it's a feeling, or people say it to each other. What Mike is really saying here is, he's supposed to love girls as he gets older, but he doesn't mean he feels obligated to act like he does. He's projecting what he thinks he should be doing. Mike is trying to act straight. So this is the whole season Mike trying to do when he thinks a straight boy would do, cover up the fact that he is gay. Sure. Yeah, it's the fact that he can't outright say it is the more suspicious thing to me. But yeah. Oh. Mike associates liking women as part of growing up, yep. As we can see in this scene and previously already discussed the fight scene. He sees his feeling for Will is childish, something he needs to grow out of as he becomes an adult, yep. Struggles to get his words out and he can't tell her he loves her to her face. Yep, parallel to Nancy and Steve, yep. Nancy? Yes, Nancy and Steven. Yeah, she can't tell him he loves him to his face, that is very true. Mike is using 11 as a beard to pass it straight. Oh, okay, that's what that means. I'm stupid, ignore me. Cares for 11 in a romantic way, and he's taking advantage of her naiveness for his own benefit. That's villainizing Mike a little bit too much. I don't think he's taking advantage of anything. I think he generally doesn't know. And he's trying to subdue feelings and not confront them. I don't think he even acknowledges them yet. But to say he's taking advantage of Al is a bit too far, I'd say. Love makes you crazy. Yep. Crazy together. Yep. Steve is hopelessly head over heels for Nancy in season 1. In the beginning, Nancy also likes Steve. She frequently describes his behaviour as crazy, explaining his feelings for her. Yep. Are you crazy? And parents are here. Yep. Crazy. Love makes you crazy. Stupid is supposed to represent what being crazy in love. Actually, yes, I agree with this one because Stupid is also in the scene when Ella is missing and Mike breaks down her base, and then when Will is missing, Will then destroys Castle Byers, going stupid. So the idea of Stupid is definitely the idea of failed relationships. Every time a character uses the word stupid, they're referring to instead of romantic relationships. Yep, another scene showing on the right, the Stupid references Mike and Eleven's relationship. The love is not replicated in the sequel. More to life stupid boys, yep. It says not stupid, yep. Elle's not stupid, Elle's not stupid. I'm so stupid, yep, sure. Oh lord. Big page. Fleur asks Nancy about the relationship, and Nancy says he's not a boyfriend. Fleur replies, we better tell him that only love makes you that crazy sweetheart, and that damn stupid, yep. Stupid here means that right now Jonathan loves Nancy, but she doesn't love him yet because she still wants to be with Steve, yep. No, actually, I'd say she does love him. She just doesn't want to acknowledge. Will stupid scene occurs after Mike's big fight, looks at the picture of them crying, so stupid. Throwing his feelings for Mike that he now thinks are one-sided, sure. He's looking at a picture of them dressed as Ghostbusters from Halloween the previous year when they would go crazy together, yep. What, you know, when him say makes you go crazy? I think it's definitely the idea of Will losing that companionship with Mike. It's no longer we'll go crazy together because you're ditching me. Poses the crazy statement to both Will and Ellen directly, only Will ultimately gets it because he feels the same way, yep. Bullshit, she's to indicate lies in the relationship. Here, yep, okay. Nancy says she doesn't remember. Steve demands Nancy tell him that she loves him, even if all what she said was bullshit. True. When Dustin says it's bullshit, he's referring to Mike and Elle. Yeah. I think it's more the fact that they're ditching, but I can see the double meaning. On the Hill, Mike and Eleven also indirectly compared to Romeo and Juliet. Yeah. Bullshit is used by Mari in season 2 for Nancy and Jonathan, who tells them to cut the bullshit and share the damn bed. Yeah. Mike blurts out he loves Eleven in Hopper's cabin while she's in the other room and he's fighting with Max in front of the party. He doesn't know she can't hear him. I love her, I can't lose her again. Yeah. I think it's quite easy as well here that he's also mixing in his feelings with Will. I love him and I can't lose him again. Poor Elle, always getting substituted in a man. Everyone looks stunned, they can't believe they're hearing. Yeah, because it kind of blurts out. Jonathan and Nancy stare at Mike blankly. Nancy's surprised. Jonathan is like, oh man, that's my brother. Max is shocked, which is quite funny, but I think she's more funny that it's randomly come out of the blank like that. Will looks down on the ground. He is sad. Okay, that is true. That is really sad. I don't know if you guys have seen it, but Will looks down. He's like, oh, okay. Lucas sits down to Max and crosses his arms. Yep. Mike looks stunned. Yep, because he didn't mean it to come out. Mike is definitely trying to love it. He wants to be normal and he wants to love her. Yep. Mike's trying to convince himself he does love Elle and the way he thinks. This line is proof. Yep. Jonathan immediately turns to look at Will, and when Elle looks at what's going on, and Will turns to look at him too. Jonathan knows. Jonathan does know. Oh, pictures, okay. That's sad. Lucas is like, yeah. Max is like, okay. Jonathan knows. Nancy has suspicions. I wouldn't be surprised. Nancy really has suspicions. Jonathan for sure, maybe Nancy too, perchance. Jonathan at least knows Will is gay, I think. But Nancy, it's implied Nancy and Mike are pretty close, and from the look on Nancy's face, kind of reads as like she doesn't believe him because she knows something. Max might know or suspect something. She definitely seems like she would pick up on it, since she seems to pick up on everything else. So Max is the only other person associated with the rainbow imagery, not led to the rainbow in the lab. I could see her being bisexual or something. What was he? Maybe Lucas. He seems to do the whole dart escaping fiasco. No, Lucas, no. I don't think Lucas does. The cross-examining was Will. Yeah, Lucas, I don't trust to not be that dense. I love Lucas. But when it comes to relationships and stuff, he's not the wisest. Mike is a liar. Right before Mike blurts out he loves Elle, Mike says Max is corrupting Elle and they both conspiring against him, yep. Luke defends Max and Mike protects her girlfriend uses Elle's powers to spy on us. Because girlfriends don't lie, they spy, yep. Max runs to Mike saying boyfriends lie all the time. In the season, for the 11 breakup, Mike paces back and forth in the basement saying she knows I'm lying, she knows. This is another reference to Mike being a liar in his relationship with Elle, that he's not only lying to her about Nanny being sick, but he's also lying about how he feels about her. And as he gets older and the relationship progresses, Mike is going to have a hard time continuing to lie about her like that. Sure. They're going to eventually see through Mike's lies, he's terrified of that. Yeah, I think it's a very fine line that we're at the moment of figuring out how much Mike knows and how much he is to kind of believe this. Because season 4, I feel like he's definitely much more aware. In season 5, I think he's really pushing it. But, yeah. Right after Mike says the line about how Elle knowing is lying, camera pans to Will in the corner playing D&D, a romantic symbol for him and Mike. She's meant to show us the reason for Mike's lying about how he feels for Elle, the bear in the show. Okay. I have heard about this one. We might end up skimming through it because I've heard from a lot of people this one is kind of... Belle says she Will was a symbol of wisdom like Will the Wise, but also the deep persona. But Will has a bear in season 1. The bears in Line season 2 basically Will is a bear. From Lucas' direction, Lucas has Mike and Six links to apologize to Elle with. Lucas brings Mike and Will to the mall to find an apology of 11. Okay, yeah. So he wants the golden teddy bear, but I also feel like it's because Elle really loves teddy bears. In her room, she's got multiple. He's wearing a bow tie signifying the bear is male. Yeah. Yeah, the bear one. My camera's so low. No, I haven't seen. When Will puts his D&D game in the donation box, next time the conversation is, whoa dude, what are you doing in that donation box? I know, I'll choose yours when I come back. I mean, if you still want to be play. Will's basically asking Mike if he still wants to be his friend, be in his life. Yeah? Yeah, what if you want to join another party? When Mike says he needs a bit of panic worry, he does. Not possible. Flashes a quick smile flirtatiously, and then Will walks confidently. Will's never done this before. He's usually quite shy and reserved. I do think he was a tiny bit flirty there. I think he's definitely coming into his feelings. Party is essentially a team. Playing together. Mike asks if Will wants to be still in his team. To play D&D and especially be a special friend. Just a quick note to the idea of teens for sexuality. Maybe. Mike's smile is really funny here, kind of like side Mike's smile compared to the scene earlier when he kisses Elle. It's crazy. Look how smug Will looks. I think he's just happy, but that is us. I love you too. Okay, we start off by Elle reaching for a teddy bear. I don't like this one. This feels too fast-fetched. I will be honest. Don't get me wrong. There is tons of symbolism in Stranger Things, but I think the bear just isn't one of them. Elle can't reach it and wants the power. She can get the bear out of the closet. Mike soon takes the bear out of the closet. No. But bear is in between them. Okay. Mike then goes on to say how he's talking to Spires and his mum about visiting for Thanksgiving, and Harry and Will come back for Christmas. He tells Harry he's going to call on Dustin Cerebro so much he'll have to turn it off. When Mike goes to Christmas, he says, I was thinking you come up here for Christmas, and Will too. Then we all have cool new presents to play with. He shakes his head, embarrassed, and says sorry that made me sound like a 7-year-old. Mike is very quick to include Will's name in the conversation about visiting them. Yes. It's instinctual for him to mention Will because of how much he wants to see him again. It's kind of funny, because it is meant to be like their private reunion. Why is my camera still so low? Don't you want to see my beautiful undyed roots? Yeah, it's just slightly... I've lost my point again. Notice how Mike used the number 7 to use when describing himself. Okay. Right after Mike mentions Will, he comes off childish. Here he is associating these things with Will as childish. Yes. Oh, yes, my point before. It's kind of like Mike and Elle's kind of intimate separation. Going away for a while as a couple. So to mention Will was slightly suspicious. Lev reminds me of that day at Hopper's cabin where we talked about his feelings. Yep. Mike looks so confused, saying he doesn't follow what she's saying, and it was so long ago he doesn't remember. Yep. Elle, because he's kind of awkward, I guess. Elle walks up to him, puts her hand in his face, and says, Mike, I love you too. Mike assumes confused and puzzled, not how you'd expect someone. Yeah. His face, he's like... He's so blank, he doesn't know. They're still... I wouldn't say they're broken up by this point. I feel like it's kind of off-screen. Not off-screen, but... Elle kisses in front of Will's open closet. Eyes being open, yes, but the other ones are not. Maybe in front of the closet, I say you can probably get away with, but the bear is just too far. Elle walks away looking pretty pleased, and Mike does not. Yeah, he was not into that kiss at all, yeah. Look at his face, like, especially that top one, there's no joy there. You'd expect him to be startled or surprised, but that is just... Yeah, this is what I mean. This is definitely his realization of at least being bisexual. And yeah, their faces. Yeah. I don't think she loves doesn't react. Mike looking at Liz versus Mike looking at Will. Yeah. He doesn't look with her that much affection this season. Opening my 11 kiss in Will movie theater. Yep. Black when he's crazy. Yep. Will Mike's interaction. My 11 scene. Yep. Lingerie store. Sauna test. Yep. Yep. Some plays the scenes called the first I love you, and just Ellen loves uncapitalized, unlike every other first letter. Yes, lowercase I hear is uncapitalized in all the tracks. That is true. So I haven't mentioned this before actually, but love is actually capitalized in every other song except the one that Mike and Elle were in, which is really interesting. Title and actually music sound very similar to a track for season 2, The First Light, when Nancy and Jonathan confront each other about lying for their feelings for each other. Yep. Need to learn to accept themselves for who they are. Yep. Elle's capitalized here, so they're really lying for their feelings for each other. Yep. Before you guys say as well, capitalization doesn't speak that much in a soundtrack. It really does, considering every other time love was capitalized and it's now an active choice not to do it. First I Love You only plays during the season. It's when Elle tells Mike she loves him while it's in front of the open closet, and during Robin's coming out scene. Does not play when Mike emptily blurts out his love for 11 Copper's cabin. Interesting. Does not play when Mike tries to tell 11 he loves her. Great. Both these scenes have their own designated tracks. Obviously an important detail to pick up on because it indicates he doesn't love her. Sure. That seems valid, yeah, I'm with that. After the 11 scene in front of Will's closet, Hopper's letter begins. Hopper's very bias-centric. There are 4 main sections of the letter that both refer to and show by on camera, so I'll put the lines matching up together and then give an explanation. Truth is, for so long I'd forgotten what is and what. Be stuck in one place in a cave, in a deep dark cave. Okay. Wait, let me go back. I want to see. Wait, what are we going for here? One place being Hawkins, or... But I guess I'll be feeling distant from you, like you're pulling away from me or something. I was playing board games every day. Yeah, okay. Yeah, that's definitely Byler coded. I completely get that. He's been lying to himself about having real feelings. Why does it keep... Excuse me, Mr. Camera. Would you? Okay, would you? Okay, so first time in his life, something to admit to himself. He doesn't have real feelings for Will. He's stuck in the closet. Okay, the first one definitely has more merit than the second one. I wouldn't push that one. The second one, I would. About the pulling away and playing board games. Yep, talking about childhood. Yep. That makes sense, because board games and D&D are so heavily interlinked, and it's just, yeah. Getting older, growing, changing. I guess if I'm being really honest, that's what scares me. I don't want things to change. I see that. Big theme of season 3 was about changing stuff. That's why I came in here to try to maybe stop that change, but the clock made things go back to how they were. So that's where I came in here to try to stop that change, the clock. Yeah, there's definitely like a theme of trying to go back, especially in season 4, go back and find that closeness that they lost once upon a time. They're getting older, changing, and basically what I said, close the game, It does scare Mike, but I think definitely now I'd start to say that Mike is more scared because he understands more. Now he's had that realization at the end of season 3. Mike's comforted by his mother to buy his leave, but Will lose deaf. Yeah, Mike wants to grow up and doesn't want things to change. Sure. That close expression when you finally realize you're gay and the boys realize you're being romantically in love with. Yeah. I definitely think his face there, it's so spaced out, he's definitely realizing. When Mike thinks Will's dead. Oh yeah, these ones are sad. These ones... Their faces. They're both getting their hugs, but Will especially can be seen that want to let go. And the second hug, pick on, yep. Will caresses his hands and Mike's arms a break away. Oh, cuties. Wait, I meant to go backwards. There we go. Oh. People say, but look at how on Mike hug at the end. 11 indicates all the physicality. Yeah, specifically Elle moves Mike's forehead onto hers. She puts her hands on his face. Yep, camera's not focusing too much on either 11 on Mike's as it does with Mike and Will. Yeah, because I definitely think it's almost reflecting Mike's mindset. He's much more focused on the fact that Will is now leaving rather than Elle. Elle hugs Dustin the same way she hugs Mike and touches the back of his head. If that was Mike, people say it was a romantic gesture, but it's totally not. She's just sad that she's moving away from the only friend she's ever known. Yeah. It is rough. She's fun seeing him from Mike. He knows it's not a phase. Yeah. Definitely. I think Mike finally grasping this realization is huge for him, but I don't think this is the end of Mike's struggle with sexuality. No. He definitely does wrestle with it more in season 4. 100%. But it's kind of clear here this is where he has that kind of big, oh no. Will's fake death season 1 compared to Will's moving away. Yep. Heroes plays, but in this one, it's during Hoppers later. Heroes then starts to play after Hoppers later is over and shows the kids backing up the house. Okay, yeah, definitely very Byler coded, very emotional. Music coding. Employees for the show previously had spent months trying to find the right music. Yeah, there is a lot of attention to detail, even if it's just like the naming of the things. Right before I wrote the lyrics, I just walk away. I have mixed feelings about that one. This is another one where I don't want to look too closely into that scene because it feels like an odd one. Elle after dumping Mike, smiling and laughing with Max, they high five and the song says it was cold as ice. Yeah, that was quite funny. That was funny. When his man is Mike, oh, what is that? Oh, Karen is who Mike goes to when something happens with Will. Yep. Mike cries in his mum's arms when was died. Yeah. Heroes. Yeah. Because something ball and shame. I do quite like as well. People point out the lyrics are the shame is on the other side, upside down. For the first time, I love a makeup scene in Panabel's room. See the Mike's rainbow name, and again, I'm not buying this. I'm not buying all the rainbow imagery. I agree with some of it, but I think some of it is a little bit of a stretch. It's again same as FNAF. It entirely depends on the context. Are you showing it within a situation where it means more, like you know, like for example, the one-way sign pointing to the closet, that has context there because of also Mike's binder of Will's drawings. Whereas if it's just a random rainbow out, it's a bit, what would they be trying to say here? Just the more time could be open, closing doors. Mike needs time to accept comes to his sexuality. Yep. In fact, the Karen almost shoots into the Billy, which is nickname for William. That's no, I wouldn't know. The lyrics reflect Mike's sincerity about his relationship, questioning his sexuality. Yep. Songs from an album called Boy in the Box. I can see that. Right after, can you bring down line? Mike breaks the case and says, nobody wants you to know you now. Nobody wants to show you how. So if you're lost on your own, you can never surrender. I feel like it was trying to be optimism. And, okay. Mike taking Elle's hands off of him. I think you can argue it's subconscious, but I also wouldn't try and push the narrative that taking hands off your partner when kissing is not wanting to kiss at all. It's second by 11 kiss of season 2 episode 1. The song that plays is I Can't Fight This Feeling Anymore. Yeah. This indicates Mike is struggling to keep fighting to deny his feelings. I can see that. And I'm still friends to let it flow. Was inside that friendship goes stronger. I only wish I had to let it show. Tell myself I can't hold. Yeah, so this is actually true. If you better have watched my first Byler video. If you watch my first Byler analysis, you can kind of see that there is a lot of symbolism about how denial of feelings, which is really interesting because it's about by the time in the show, Elle and Mike are quite happy together supposedly because it's released between season 2 and season 3. Yeah, it's a lot of like oppressed feelings, which is kind of odd. Okay. Will dances for the girl with the rainbow in her hair. That's cute. I like the headcanon. But yeah, it definitely does that. Will definitely did want to dance with Mike because he's looking at Mike. Yeah, I take that. Kids of a Shut Snowball is Love is a Battlefield. Yeah. Love is confusing and heartbreaking. Sure, everyone has someone they want to dance with. Yeah. So Lucas and Max and Dustin, yeah. Will, Mike and 11, yeah. Dustin asks, gets rejected. The battle, Lucas asks Max to dance. Girl asks Will to dance. Will and the girl join Max and Lucas. Mike and Dustin longingly on the floor as they dance with other people. Sure. 11 shows up, she dances with Mike. Nancy invites Dustin to dance. Yes. Yep, I can buy this. Well, Dustin is determined to dance with the girl, and Lucas is determined to dance with Max. Mike and Will do nothing definitely do not take initiative to ask a girl to dance like Lucas and Dustin do. Okay. Until a girl comes over, and Will doesn't want to dance, yet we know this. He doesn't want to go. Yeah, he didn't want to. Song Every Breath You Take. Yeah. That is true. It is a Stalker song. Although I do think... Oh, punchy Mike. I really think it does depend on how you're looking at this. Because Lucas and Max's dancing is cute. And the Stalker song with 11 dancing with Mike. It's... Okay. Half get you. Kiss between Mike and Elle was not in the script, that is true. The Duffer Brothers weren't planning to include him in 11 Kiss, and that was Millie Bobby Brown that initiated it, yes, because fans would be mad. Well, fun fact, the Duffer Brothers said they're not following fan service anymore, so Kiss between Lucas and Mac was not scripted. Cute. Started teasing they'd have to kiss, but yeah. That's fair. When 11 falls back into Mike's arms and he helps her up after she throws Billy through a wall, Millie gave it in because she was supposed to have, and she fell back into Wolfhard's arms because she was just so exhausted from screaming all day. True, okay. Yeah, that's the thing. A lot of my 11 is fan service, and it's clear Duffer Brothers aren't leaning into that anymore. So, Mirror of Your Dreams line is sung when the camera shows Will merging the shadows to have his conversation with Mike. I think the line refers to the D&D game. Will is holding a reference to his dream. What did you think, really? Yeah, I guess it did, yeah. Yeah, I can see that. I'd seen a reason why that wouldn't be symbolism. Never-ending story principle is queerness. The lines have rhymes that keep the secrets and will unfold behind the clouds, and thereupon the rainbow is a never-ending story. Okay. Showing the line rhymes that keep the secrets is played Will is shown. This happens in the pictures. Yeah, because Will is definitely like confronting sexuality a lot more this season. He's definitely embracing it more and confronting it and being screwed over by Mike because of it. I think it's because Will has pretty much always known that he's gay. Yep, he also known he's in love with Mike. Pretty much. Mike is not that far along. Yes. Season 2 at least he's having... It's okay. Just sit up. Don't you forget about me. Cute. Getting dragged apart. Sure. Don't you forget about me. Yeah. Oh, I'm too high again. Bullies. I sit upside down and turning me, giving love instinctively. Boy, turn me inside out and run around. Okay. Sure. So we've already talked about Mike's playlist and how it is very queer and how it is very obviously queer. Meanwhile, with Will's, it seems like it's a lot of romantic ones. Again, makes sense. Oh, I'm still standing. A guy bragging about a breakup, nothing like a kid. Yep, getting out of a toxic relationship. Toxic, my 11. Also on my journal. I'm still standing. Your blood like winter freeze was just like ice. References to... Yeah. Love and I need to know that I'm still standing. You just fade away. Don't you know I'm still standing? Feeling like a little kid. Yeah, okay. I'm with you that one. Did I say because you say goodbye? To promise I could take it through though. Forget about the years. Yeah. Yeah, so we won't go into too much detail of these today because this is a lot of the music. But yeah, Don't Tell Me Lies on Elle's playlist. Yeah, the playlists I think are kind of underrated on how much information they give us. I do think we should be looking more. Random pieces of evidence. Oh, cute! The matching outfits, cute. Don't think their parents ever loved each other. Yeah. Yeah, I don't like the Billy being an for William thing. I don't think that's intentional. After 11 dumped him, Mike seems pretty unbothered to the supposed love of his life, and Ted doesn't love Karen, and we see how Mike acted. Doesn't love Karen, but I'm trying to think where I decide on this, because when Ted mentioned this, I'm pretty sure it is when Mike is saying he's the only one that cares about Will, and then everyone storms off. I don't know if it can be compared. I guess so. Clever Mike's shirt, Clever Mike's bedroom walls. We can get away with the shirts. Although, to be fair, it's also just because Mike is blue-coded, Will is yellow-coded because of blue-yellow. Luke is just like the Karate Kid because Mike thinks he's hot. Cute. Mike's relationship parallel to his parents managed to continue. Ted's lazy boy. No, I think it's just Elle having fun in it. I can't lie. This... Because the thing is, the issue I have of drawing the Billy parallel as well is Billy was toxic. And it's like... Where do you draw the line there? Towards the end of Hopper's letter, Dawson and Lucas give Erica's Will's old D&D game was a rainbow drawing on a door. That was just always there, to be fair. I'm not gonna lie. Of course, you saw seeing other couples standing next to each other, but might think Will at the only one sitting in this fruit section. I can see it as a joke. I can see it like being teased with the whole they're fruity sitting at the fruit section, but I also don't necessarily think it's... I think the bigger piece of evidence you can take here is how close that Mike and Will are and how all the other couples there. Like, I think that's one thing this person who made this slideshow, you're doing really good, but you've missed out one thing, is that you're looking at the wrong aspect. I don't know if you should necessarily be looking at the idea that Mike and Will are sitting at the fruit section. You should be looking at everyone standing in couples. You have Max and Lucas together, you have Nancy and Jonathan together, and then you have Mike and Will literally crammed in there together. So I think that's the bigger thing here. Love triangle imagery. Yep. Oh, this is an interesting theory. So it's because Mike tried to get the Kit Kat, and then actually Reese's Pieces or M&M's fell out or something, and it's kind of symbolizing that, yeah, it's a... I don't think what they're saying there about the M&M's not existing. I think that wasn't as deep, but I think it's more... Yeah, I wouldn't believe this one, but it's just about how he didn't get the candy he wanted. I think it's... potential, there's potential there. Number 7. Mike realized you wanted to D3, and Reese's Pieces will D4. 7, the Demogorgon, he got me. He might both roll 7s together. Okay, now. Sorry, that made me sound like a 7-year-old. I think seven here, pick her up at 7. I think there definitely is imagery of the number 7, but I think it's more just more staring. Yeah, the one on the left I don't think is great, and then the one on the right, it's just Mike talking to Will and Lucas. That's the thing. I get the point of a lot of these screenshots, but a lot of them are slightly out of context. When you watch the full scene, it's not that, like, for example, say we saw before that both Lucas and Will were both looking at the same thing. So this is actually quite funny. Yeah, that's okay. Okay. Mac Rex Max for Susan. Season 2 Max unwelcome to Max because he thinks Will likes her. Is jealous. Yep, that is no, wait, no, hang on, no. Okay. If we're going with the Byler narrative, the one we need to look at is the fact that Nancy and Steve aren't staying together well because they feel like there's a new normal that's not good. Nancy doesn't love Steve and she can't move on from the idea that Barb died, henceforth she then is mad and lashing out at Steve, and it's the same here. Mike is lashing out at Max because everyone's trying to forget that Elle's gone, and both Nancy and Mike have lost their at least friend and they miss them and they don't want a new normal, and that is exactly what's happening in season 2 for both the Wheeler siblings. So I think that's where we're meant to be going there, not that way. Third season with Mike and Max, they don't get along. Yeah, they're both quite headstrong, which doesn't help. Mike doesn't raise any issues around Susie, doesn't mention her at all because of season 3 he's away from Dustin. He does ask a few questions though, which is interesting because when we find out Will probably has a girlfriend, Mike kind of avoids it. Season 3, Max helps Elle become more confident and assertive, which Mike doesn't like. It's harder for him to use. Okay, stop saying Mike is using Elle. I don't like this terminology because Mike isn't doing it intentionally. It comes from intention, and I don't think Mike is intentionally doing this. So I think unintentionally using or something is different. But saying he's actively using it and the phrase that you used before, I'm like, I don't think I agree with that. Max encourages him in the wardrobe because more feminine. It makes it even harder to deny he's gay. I guess you can have that, kind of. I wouldn't say that's evidence, but I guess you could see it that way. Will looks disappointed every time Mike pays attention to Elle or mentions her in season 3. That's true because he's very fed up with Elle as always mentioned. He looks upset when he thinks Elle is cold. Looks annoyed when Mike and Elle leave the hike early. He looks upset when Mike accidentally blurts out he loves Elle in the cabin. Yeah, because he feels like he's becoming detached, and not only has he potentially had a chance to get with Mike this season, he's just completely lost it under his feet and no one listens to him. Robin is the only confirmed LGBTQ character, yes, through dialogue. We have people say parallels between Byler, Steve, and Robin and Will aren't valid because Robin's meant to be Steve's girlfriend. Maya Hawken, who plays Robin, and Joe Curry, who plays Steve Harrington, give interviews saying they were just romantic. They weren't getting romantic vibes from the characters. They brought the idea to death was that Robin could be a lesbian before all those episode scripts were written. Yeah, so that's an important thing. It comes with placement. So that's the thing. It happened beforehand. Placement was beforehand. They didn't get together beforehand. So I wouldn't count that in, which is, I agree with them. What's this? Moonlight, Fridge and the Game Men. Oh, I think it's just the vending machine logo. I think it's a branded vending machine. Again, I didn't like a lot of this rainbow imagery. All the parallels between Steve and Robin and Mike and 11, as well as any parallels of Robin and Will and Mike with Byler couple, I think is super important because Robin is the only person in the show who's actually verbally come out. She's 100% confirmed. Well, yeah, she is confirmed, whereas Will season 4 is like all we need to directly say is I am gay. That's the only missing thing. Fix it so it's more obvious. Exact same shots and the scenes parallel each other. Ooh. That's from the Duffer Brothers. Interesting. Because the two do like each other and the bottom two don't. Interesting. Will sees Jonathan with lipstick on his cheek and Nancy more comments gross. Drew says you wouldn't think it's so gross when you fall in love. I'm not going to fall in love when you already have. Yeah, I 100% think things. But I think what is going through Will's head. He was worried about his quick in the 80s. He's not going to be able to fall in love with his brother. Like his brother. God, don't cancel me. Like his brother. Sad head response to hiding a gun in the basement. Our son with a girl. Yeah, I think it's more about because he's a nerd, but I could see it that way. I could definitely see it that way. Telemarketing joke right before the Byler fight. L. Sorry, not interested. Kind of funny. It's sex education parallel. I would not go for this. Even though it's both Netflix shows, I very much doubt it was used as inspiration, so I think we're going to leave this one. Mr. Horror there is love. Indiana Flying and Stalker more. It's the same tune as Daisy Bell. I'm half crazy over the love of you. Cute. Cute. I think it was a very stereotypical music for the ride at the time, but it's also cute. Music using Audition code, computers, kind of encapsulation of the show in a way how Hawkins and Indiana has all this natural evil stuff going in the lab and upside down. What's happening? Have this beautiful love story to Mike and Mill. Sure. Mike and Love are not a serious romantic relationship, and they are intended to be. The Duffer brothers describe Mike and Elle's relationship to Finn Wolfhard Mike as if he was taking care of a puppy. Interesting. Relationship is often described as a first crush and obsessive. Okay. Okay. So I can see that definitely. It's definitely not. I think that's the issue when it starts to get more serious, more complicated. They actually have to consider how the relationship would be. That's when it starts getting messed up. How it's described in the show's pitch book. If Mike is the Elliot of our show, 11 is our RT. Okay. 11 is our AT. The Duffer said this multiple times. The specific images are current post-season 3 interview. They still think of it that way. Nothing's changed. Yeah. Duffer Brothers have talked about this in several interviews, stating that 11 was supposed to die in season 1, which defeats the Demogorgon. Sure. Only decided not to kill her off because of how much they liked Millie playing 11 and thought the show can continue without her in it. Okay. So if 11 was supposed to die and she was went into the second season after that decision to keep her made, it's really interesting that season 2 was still the most balanced interest season. Absolutely. I really think it was meant to be like a puppy love kind of crush thing, and then it will go on to Byler. Because the final ships have been planned since the start, and the only way that could be with 11 dying is Mike. Mike and Elle were never supposed to be endgame because she was supposed to die, so the argument just does not make any sense. Mike and Will seem like they will probably end up together in the end because everything went in direction. Yep. Itchy. Ah. Oh, with sexual identity issues, like Mike Will escapes through fantasy gaming Q. He's now had a first kiss, much as a girlfriend. He escapes insecurity through reading fantasy, and it was cutie. Okay, in panel of season 1, Duffers and Carmen Cuba discussed the audition process of finding the kids to play the characters. They talked about how Mike and Elle had to do chemistry tests, and they also made Mike and Mo do chemistry tests. None of the other main kids were singled out to do chemistry tests, it's just pairs, but all 5 kids brought them together. Yeah, it's partially. Which is actually really interesting, especially for season 1, because if it was just season 1, they didn't actually have that much interactions because Will is missing for most of the season. Whereas in later seasons, it's very important because Mike and Will have this amazing chemistry, and obviously that is what led to Byler. Yes, it shows that Byler was the plan. Yeah, because if it was only for season 1, they would need to have that good chemistry. To prove the Duffers brand several seasons ahead of the seasons we are seeing, Carmen Cuba and the Duffers confirmed an interview they had Will perform a scene from season 2 in his audition previous season 1. Yes. Okay, so we're going to leave this here today. We're going on to season 2 next time. It's just a lot to go through. I mean, I've been filming now for, I think, an hour 20. So this is a long video. I don't know how long it'll be. But, yes. Thank you guys so much for listening. I hope you enjoyed. We will break down the other part. So we are on page 158 now out of like 300 and something. So we'll go through the other ones at a later date. For now, thank you so much for listening, and I'll see you next time. Goodbye. Thank you guys again for so much support in the other videos. Although I will say, if you guys are seeing hate comments, there's a lot of rage baiters coming in the comment sections. I will deal with them, report them. Don't let them attack you, okay? This is a safe space and I will guard it.